Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Furnace here in Townsville for this round 3 QBL fixture between the Townsville Flames and the Cairns Dolphins. My name's Mark Roble. Joining me for the women's game tonight is former Flames coach Mike St. Maurice.
Good evening, Mark. Thank you very much.
Mate, I saw you catching up with the current coach Luke just before the game. What did he have to say?
Well, I guess he was a bit disappointed last week that they had one get away from them. He was minus 3 starters, so it was always going to be a tough ask. He comes in a little bit unprepared against Cairns here. He wasn't expecting this second import to be there tonight, and I think he found out about it only yesterday it was. So
that's Janae Thompson, I believe, is it?
Yeah, that's right. So that's their 4-man or their 5-man. They're big, so he's a little bit worried that they're unprepared for her, but they've got some quality bigs themselves who have played in some big games, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, look, he caught up with Kerry quickly, and he really, Kerry Williams, the Dolphins coach, he kept his cards fairly close to his chest. He knows he's got a young group running around out here. You know, he sort of said that the new import arrived this week, and so it'll be interesting to see how she gels straight in with the team. But the start of the season they've had, it's almost turning into must-wins early for them in a pool rivalry game.
Well, I actually saw Kerry last week in Mackay, and that's 2 years in a row that now Cairns has started on the road with a triple header and undermanned, and I was wondering how someone lets that happen, and he managed to sneak a win in against the Brisbane Capitals, which sort of salvaged his weekend, and but now he's got a full complement of players, and Townsville will have their hands full.
So firstly, from Townsville Basketball's perspective, we'd like to give a quick apology for last week. We had some issues, obviously, with the live stream and unfortunately weren't able to go live, but we have hopefully been able to rectify those issues for tonight, and going to try and get a couple of new things into the stream this year, Mike, as well, with some halftime interviews perhaps, if the coaches will give us some time. And well, we won't play anything up too much yet. We'll see if it all works and all happens, but hopefully our coverage can be improved a little bit more this year.
In terms of starting lineups, Harriet Carey returns for the Flames. She put up 27 points, second-year player. She had a big game for us last year, and she really opened up the season well. So Michaela Cox is back. Alicia Froling has now had a week with the group. Courtney, the Townsville import, she's starting as well. So it's quite a different starting lineup than we saw last week. And
Lisa Brennan, presuming Lisa is going to be playing the 3 in that group. Last couple of years she's been playing more the inside position. So it'll be interesting to see how she defends on the perimeter, or whether Luke's got some other schemes set up where maybe Alicia Froling might get stretched out to defend on the perimeter.
Yeah, well, I guess that's a bit of a strength for them, that they're going to be a bit versatile and be able to defend that forward spot and being able to switch all those players. And Michaela's quite strong herself. She's just come back from the international 3-on-3, having qualified with New Zealand for the World Cup. So that's great. Congratulations, Michaela.
So for Cairns, we've got Janae Downing, Janae Thompson, Sarah Hurd, Summer Evans, and who's the other one?
Shanice Swain, young Shanice Swain.
So Shanice, who absolutely tore things up here about a month ago at the Under-18 Nationals, she should be feeling comfortable on this court. She had some good games out here.
Absolutely. So she's a great young player.
So we're underway in Cairns.
And they post her up immediately. Kick out to Brennan. She opens the count with a triple. You can play the 3 if you can do that all night.
Well, that's we were expecting her to maybe stretch out of the perimeter, and that's an indication she's not going to die wondering tonight.
A lack of familiarity there in that handoff. Thankfully for Cairns, it came off Michaela Cox, so it's going to be Cairns' ball on the sideline, and Summer Evans will get us started.
So Cox up into hard denial there on the Cairns import, trying to take her time away.
Oh, they leave Hurd wide open. That seemed to have been a bit of the plan, and Courtney has the ball stolen off the rebound, but Summer Evans can't convert. Unlucky Cairns.
Cox trying to push early and just has a little misread from Kerry, who was cutting towards the basket at first turnover there for the Flames.
A little bit of full court pressure, some familiar players that I had last year and some ones that you've had before as well. Here's the import with a long two, and she converts.
Heavy contest by Cox there. Probably lucky to get away with maybe a foul on that shot.
Well, Courtney goes up with the right hand and gets blocked. Cairns come up with it in transition. Oh, the big unit can't convert.
So Angela Tompkins is the import. My apologies for messing that up at the start. So
Tompkins is the big one.
Yep.
And Thompson is the little two guard or point guard. I'm not sure what her preferred position is.
So Cairns ball out of bounds on the baseline here after some loose play from Townsville.
A few turnovers both ways.
Shot is good by Tompkins. Nice little action there from the mid-range.
Yeah, good patience on that setup. They got her wide open on a 14-footer and she buries it. And this is where Townsville may struggle a little bit. They probably haven't had this group of 5 players together on the floor for very many practices.
Probably.
So that's right, actually, with Michaela Cox.
And Tompkins makes the basket. Foul is called on Alicia Frolling, I believe. No, Perry, sorry. Foul is called on Perry.
They've showed they certainly want to get out and run. Townsville will have to get their D-trans sorted a little bit. That's a couple of opportunities there with some numbers.
And Tompkins looks quite strong with her start to the game. Certainly feeling no effects of travelling in this week by the looks of it. Townsville settled into their work in the half court. Cox looking
they got
for
the post
Perry
up they wanted, but Shanice Swain is so long. We saw that a lot at under 18 nationals. She's got quite the reach. She poked it out from Courtney. Sam Evans with an extra possession for Cairns.
Thompson, loose pass out of the on-ball, picked off by Frolling.
Alicia Frolling leads the break, and Townsville unfortunately turn it over. Oh, Harriet Carey manages to save it, and here's another numbers advantage.
Cox for 3, no good.
I'm pretty sure I saw her toe on the line, but they would have given her the 3. Doesn't matter, it didn't convert. Nervous start for Townsville.
Yeah, they just, as you said, they haven't obviously had a lot of time with this group particularly. You know, Alicia Frolling arrived while Michaela Cox was away at 3-on-3. Perry wasn't on the court last week either, so it will take time for combinations to develop with this group.
Shanice Swain showing no fear at the tender age of 16 years old. Can't convert that time, though.
Quick pass in. Brennan finds Perry at the rim out of the out of bounds. Cairns not alert there. And that brings Cairns' lead back from 7-5, Cairns' way.
No substitutions planned for either team. Swain lets it fly.
From the corner, hits the 3.
It's been a while since we've seen this young of a player who's been that impressive. Here's Swain again on the break. Can't convert that time, but...
Follow up by Tompkins, and Brennan has seen enough. Calls the first time out of the game with Cairns Dolphins leading 12-5.
I'm not sure that... I think Townsville's going to have to find an answer for the athleticism that Cairns has shown early on. On every D board, they are off and running, and it seems to be a numbers advantage for Cairns. Townsville's been a bit lucky at times that Cairns haven't been able to convert in that.
Yeah, look, and you look at the Townsville bench and you see players like Alex Fowler's obviously going to come in and spend some time away last week with national duty camp. Ainsley Walsh, a veteran of this team now after being around many years. but the rest of the bench looks a little bit skinny as far as experience is concerned, and a lot of youth sitting there.
I guess that's been a function of the success that Townsville has had recently. So last year we would have had the likes of Mila Goodchild and Haley Andrews that may have been able to supplement, but they've gone off and had excellent freshman years over in America. And Magella Carey will be coming back, but she's another one who's missing from the bench from last year. So this constant stream of quality players that are being sent overseas, and some returning. Alicia Froling is an example of someone who may have started this great trend of great Townsville young women. She's just completed her senior year at SMU and broke multiple records.
And Carey's certainly getting some value out of this time out. The Townsville team out there waiting. And look, we talk about Townsville's youth, but we can't undersell Cairns' youth in this team. You know, besides their 2 imports, I would hazard to say there's not another member on the team that's over 20 probably.
That's right, and they're starting 3 teenagers themselves. Summer Evans, Shanice Swain, and Sarah Hurd are both, all 3 great Cairns juniors.
So Cox off the on ball, gets to the rim, makes the basket, and will go to the free throw line. The foul called there on Summer Evans.
Summer, what a great prospect she is. You know, 6'1", 6'2", long, athletic. I'm not sure what her ambitions are, but I'm sure that there'd be American colleges that'd be interested in having her in their roster.
You would think so. And Cox is good from the foul line.
A little bit of half-court pressure here. Oh, it's deflected. Swain saves it.
Perry's length just deflecting 2 passes in a row there, and will be Cairns' ball out of bounds now. Townsville looks to be in a 2-3 zone, possibly have that out of bounds. Long shot is no good by Swain.
And speaking of the youth movement, Cairns goes even younger here. Indy Boyer checks in. She's another under 18 Queensland North junior. So for Cairns, they're showing 4 teenagers at the moment.
And leading by 4 right now. Perry attacks hard from the elbow. Nice rip, and no one was getting in front of her on that rip at the basket.
That was a pretty explosive move for such a strong-looking woman.
Evans attacks Froling, no good. Perry, nice outlet to Cox.
Carey did a great job of running the floor there.
Then lets herself down with a loose pass. And turnovers plaguing Townsville right now.
Boyer knocks it down. When in doubt, air it out. Great kid.
5 turnovers in this game already for Townsville, and Cairns have done a really good job of slowing them down out of any transition scores.
They're going to call travel. They sort of sent the double there late. They've seen a bit of the same move from Courtney, so she's going to have to show something different. Still no substitutions for Townsville, but just as I say that, Ainsley Walsh gets the tap on the shoulder, and she'll be checking in.
3-point shot, no good for Hurd. Townsville try and find Perry inside.
Oh, great read from Cox. She draws the contact from Hurd, and she'll head to the line shooting 2. Alicia Froling was trying to clear out space so they could play the 2-man game.
And Walsh and Fowler enter the game for Townsville, with Carey and Perry leaving to the bench. While for Cairns, Janae Downing gets her first minutes on the court, with Shanice Swain getting a break.
I like this group for Townsville as well. Versatile, athletic, experienced.
They're back into this half-court trap out of the free throws.
Great job from Lisa Brennan. Michaela Cox putting a lot of pressure on the point guard there. They find Fowler in the trail to Brennan for 3. She can't knock it down. Cairns knock it out of bounds, though. What a great rebounding combo Townsville have in Alicia Froling and Alex Fowler.
Well, look, you would think Townsville, between Fowler, Froling, Perry, should dominate the rebound count tonight, really, against this inexperienced Cairns team.
Yeah. Speaking of rebounds, Michaela comes up with one of her own. Brennan manages to control it. Fowler off the left hand, can't control it herself, and she'll knock it out of bounds. Another Townsville turnover.
Which brings the count to 8 in the first quarter.
Wow, 8 in the first 6 minutes. But again, this is almost the equivalent of a preseason game for the Townsville team, who hit the floor together for the first time tonight. Meanwhile, this is game 5 for Cairns.
So you would expect Cairns to be a lot more advanced in their stuff, even though they've bought a new import in this week. The rest of the team should be feeling each other a little bit better.
What a quality move from Summer Evans, backing down Lisa Brennan there, and with the pull-up J.
Walsh with the kick out to Cox. It's good for 3, and the lead is back to 2 Cairns way.
You know, despite the 8 turnovers, Townsville only trails by 2 points. So they've done a good job of battling. I think John Fenwick got sold on the foul there. But watching maybe a bit of James Harden playing against Golden State.
Look, you know what, Mike? I don't mind that, though, because I thought the first one was a foul down here on the other wing. So perhaps that exaggerated contact has been remembered.
That
call
mental
has gone
tally.
there. Yeah.
Michaela Cox pleading her case.
Yep. So Thompson's good with all 3. Gets that Cairns lead back out to 5. It certainly does look a little disjointed out there for Townsville right now in the half court.
Spin move from Brennan's no good off the right hand. And I guess that's the other thing too. Townsville, with the change in coaching staff, are learning a whole bunch of new sets themselves. So
traded up or traded down from last year's coach?
Definitely traded up. Definitely traded up. Luke Brennan with a wealth of experience. Played in the NBL. Played under some great coaches.
He has a lot to live up to, though, after the performances from the Flames last year.
A couple of quick fouls there for Townsville. They're they're 3rd and 4th for the quarter. Next one will send them to the free throw line.
Walsh knives through that screen nicely.
Well defended by Townsville. It took too long for Cairns to develop their action, and Townsville were really comfortable, and there was really no physicality about it. So, but good job to Townsville.
Brennan deep into the seam, gets fouled by Evans, and will go to the foul line for 2 shots.
The captain again this year, Lisa Brennan, heads to the free throw line.
And looking in pretty reasonable shape. I think probably looking a little bit of better shape than what she was at some times last year. So she's obviously spent a bit of time trying to get a little bit ready, a little bit more prepared, maybe husband coaching, a little bit more motivation.
I heard there was a fair bit of pressure going on at home. Luke was desperate to get a quality player like Lisa back on board. And you're right, she's looking a lot fitter.
And look, probably challenged herself, knowing she was going to have to play on the perimeter a little bit more this year.
Well, knowing that if she said no, she'd still have to face that person every day on the dinner table. So
Loose pass again by Townsville. Brennan in this instance.
Townsville scrambles. They've got shooters covered. Cairns get into the half-court set. It's a mismatch, though. Thompson gets right past Brennan. Offensive rebound by the big unit. It's tipped around. No one dives on it. Cairns come up. Here's Boyer. She'll hit the triple. 2 of 2 from deep. Indy Boyer, quality minutes off the bench.
And Cairns lead by 7 with 1.5 minutes to go in the first. Cox answers with 3 herself.
Cuts the lead to 4. Not sure what happened. They're going to call it on Brennan, I believe.
The reach in from the side.
She looked guilty. She stood there as the bodies hit the decks.
And Carey and Perry back into the game as Froling and Brennan earn their first rest for this evening. Hurd also coming back in for Cairns.
I would assume that Michaela Cox will be playing 40 minutes tonight. I don't think... just looking down at the bench, I know Shaylee Ward is someone that Luke was hoping to rely on for some backup point guard minutes this year, but she's got a couple of injuries that she's managing for Nationals. Eliza Fabro is more of a combo guard, and I'm sure she'll come in, but I would be really surprised to see Mick not play the whole time, and for that specific reason.
Nice little slash to the rim and finish with the left there.
She can just do it all. She's one of my favorite players. That's a travel. She can shoot the 3. She can play pressure defense. And then tomorrow morning she'll wake up and run a 20K marathon.
There is no doubt that physically she is up to a 40-minute stint.
Off that middle ball screen, they find Walsh in the corner. She buries the triple. And that ties us up. This has really felt like Kansas quarter, but Townsville have done such a good job of answering and, you know, not letting runs become too big.
They have just found a way to stick in right now.
Cox does a great job of containing her player. Oh, Thompson? No, Tompkins.
Tompkins
gets the offensive rebound over Perry.
Now Cox looks for the last shot of this first quarter.
Got 8 seconds, lots of physicality in there.
Foul called there on Thompson. It'll be Flames ball with 6 seconds to go.
Cairns don't have any more fouls to give here, so they want to keep their hands out. And despite all of Shanice Swain's strengths, Carey here from the corner. Air ball, pass, I mean.
Perry cleans up the scraps and puts it back for 2. And at quarter time here at Townsville Basketball Stadium, we are all tied up. 26 apiece. So at quarter time, just looking through the stats here for the Townsville Flames, the leading scorer is Michaela Cox with 13 points, half of Townsville's points right now on 4 of 6 shooting. For the Dolphins, their main point scorer is Tompkins with 10, also rounding that out with 4 boards, and she's been quite effective in and around the rim right now, Mike.
Yep. Indy Boyer off the bench has played 6 quality minutes for them. She's got 6 points to help keep the scoreboard ticking over.
And we talked about Townsville with their turnovers through that first quarter, so 9 turnovers to 5. So they really have got lucky with a fairly decent shooting percentage when they finally got through the clock. Shooting at 60% from the field has kept them in this game at quarter time.
And the other thing they'll have to tidy up here too is that Summer Evans has got 3 and Angela Tompkins has 3 herself. So that's 6 boards in the first quarter. So the combination of all those turnovers and those offensive rebounds is just giving Cairns a wealth of possession that so far Townsville have accounted for. Shooting percentage-wise, Townsville have been hot from three. They're 4 of 8 from downtown for 50%. Cairns not too bad themselves, 43% from 3 of 7. Both teams going to the free throw line a similar amount. Townsville's 4 of 5. Townsville come out early of that timeout, and they're ready to go. Sorry, of that quarter time. They're going with Walsh, Cox, Carey, Fowler, and Perry. Cairns answer with a youth brigade. They're going with Hurd, Swain, Boyer, Thompson, and Tompkins.
Back underway with the second quarter, and it'll be Cairns with the first use. Thompson, nice little split of the on-ball horn set, gets down the lane for 2.
Townsville tried to send her to her left hand, and she was just able to split and get past the big and kiss it off the glass well.
Foul called off the ball here on Boyer. Just a little bit of a bump on Walsh off that shuffle screen. And Townsville, find Cox off the base out of bounds. No good, great hustle by Perry, finds Fowler under the rim, and Fowler will go to the foul line.
What a great little set from Luke Brennan there to get a wide open 3 for his best 3-point shooter. Great work on the glass, and now Fowler hits the line shooting too.
Foul was called there on Hurd for Cairns. That's her first foul.
Fowler missed the first. She just returns from the Oz under-19s camp down in Canberra, where I heard she did quite well.
Yeah, so the first of their camps leading into the World Championships in Thailand in the middle of the year for the Gems. So she'll hopefully be, from Townsville's perspective, on the plane and going to her second World Championships.
They're doing a good job of sending the import to her left hand, and she's really settled for a few shots. My least favorite shot, that long 2 overhands.
I know how much you love that shot, Mike. Perry turnover again by Townsville.
Oh, that may have been a carry that Swain got away with. She kicks it out to Hurd for 3 under heavy pressure from Harriet Carey, who spills out. And she might be able to cherry pick. Oh, she can't convert. Oh, and neither can Ainsley Walsh on the offensive rebound. A few opportunities gone missing there for Townsville.
And then frustration for Carey there, just a little push in the back on the rebound.
It's tough for a young player to have these big games like she did last week and then not feel the pressure of being able to reproduce something like that. You know, it's a bit of a cliche, but she's just going to have to let the game come to her. You know, she doesn't have to make them all in one go.
So Townsville's dropped back into a 2-3 zone here, extended up high with the guards. And a foul called there, lucky foul for Townsville, because Swain looked like she had a clean strip there.
Absolutely, and I'm not a homer on that. I thought she picked Michaela Cox's pocket clean. And Michaela spoke highly of Shanice. She helped that Queensland North team prepare, and I know she thought she was really surprised to learn she was only 16 years old.
Cox works out of the ball screen, finds Perry on the roll.
Spin move, Fowler keeps it alive, tip, long 2 from Walsh, can't convert. Fowler again keeps the possession alive for Townsville. And Cox at speed off the right hand, tries to float her over length, can't convert, and then fouls.
That's Michaela Cox's second foul, so she'll need to just watch her hands a little bit here, because as we talked about earlier, there is not a lot of great depth there on the Townsville bench right now in the point guard spot. Who would run the point right now, Mike, if Cox has got to take a seat?
Well, I would take several timeouts to figure that one out. I'm really not sure. I think it would be a by committee approach. They don't have a traditional floor general if Michaela's not able to be out there. But Ainsley Walsh has played some big minutes and played in big games and has some WNBL experience, so she would know what to do.
Cox is no good with her three-point shot. Little falcon there by Walsh on the rebound contest.
Not sure why Tompkins decided to pull up there. They had a numbers advantage.
Thompson rejected by Fowler. Break initiated by Townsville. A little bit of scrappy play again. Cairns, great scramble in D-Trans.
Great rebound. Oh, Courtney Perry. Oh, she gets blocked by Sarah Hurd.
Young girls coming to work defensively right now, both ends of the floor.
Thought she could have made better use of her left hand there. She went up with the right, and Sarah Hurd is quite long herself. 10 seconds on the shot clock. There's that explosive move from Swain. Gets it high off the glass, can't convert though. Oh,
great save by Tompkins.
And that's that athleticism that we were referring to earlier, that this Cairns group really can get after it.
Thompson tries to finish again with her right there. Great extended pass there to Fowler by Cox. And Fowler's called on the floor. It'll be Townsville ball from the baseline.
That's Shanice Swain picking up her second foul.
And Kerry Williams calls timeout for the Cairns Dolphins, leading 28-27, 3 minutes into this second quarter.
It's been really exciting. I like the fact that both getting up and down the floor. They're trying to play through their post players. Cairns with that athleticism and keeping some possessions alive, and similarly for Alex Fowler to do the same thing for Townsville. So they're really well matched up, these two teams.
I've got to give some props to Cairns right now, Mike, because I thought that Townsville would potentially be too strong in this matchup, even with the fluency issues still there for Townsville. But Cairns has done a great job defensive transition, which has stopped Townsville going getting those easy points, slowed them down to the half court.
Yep.
And that's been the make or break for this game right now.
And despite Cairns introducing two imports, Kerry Williams is really familiar. He's the development officer up in Cairns, so he's worked with a lot of these juniors. He knows their strengths and their abilities, and they receive individual coaching from him. So I would say that's a bit to Cairns' advantage at the moment in terms of familiarity of system. Excuse me. So it'll be Townsville ball on the baseline, 6:32 left here in the second quarter. Cairns again slow coming out of their timeout. I'm just expecting the ref to hand the ball at one point and say, well, you've been given fair warning.
I think Tom Jones just went and had a little chat to him and said that might happen next time.
Again, they find a great shot for Michaela Cox. And I suppose that's the disadvantage of youth, is that under a screener system, some of these young kids aren't sure what to do and aren't the best communicators. So there's the potential to leave wide open shooters.
Fowler got caught up on a switch there on Thompson at the top, and Thompson attacked her, picked up Fowler's second foul, which means Frolling will come back in and Fowler back to the bench.
It's been some good minutes from Fowler, so she was probably due for a sub. It's unfortunate that she picked up her second foul, but again, savvy. She knows how to play with foul trouble. They really gap and contain that well. Cairns again settle for a long shot over hands. I'm not sure that Kerry Williams is going to be too happy with, is it Thompson?
Thompson there,
Thompson's
yes.
shot selection so far in the first half.
So Cox looking for Perry down low. Strong matchup between her and Tompkins.
Banging inside.
Nice
Great move.
finish off the glass.
I'm not sure how tall she is. She's maybe 6'2". Both of them are around a similar height, but I think she's got the weight advantage. Here's this middle ball screen again. Carey manages to get over that time, and Swain picks up her dribble, which really put Cairns in a situation where they couldn't take advantage of anything.
Tompkins finds Boyer on the wing. She doesn't like it. Shots off though. Just beats the shot clock, but it's no good, and it'll be Townsville ball from the baseline.
Cox wanted to kick it ahead, but Carey wasn't ready for it.
Perry v. Tompkins again down low. Perry to her right hand's no good, and then little fumble. Ball spills out of bounds, and it's Dolphins ball.
She might have to play off 2 feet off of that. Like, she does a good job of getting the angle on it, but she has to use her offhand to be able to protect the ball or at least draw the foul.
Have a little counter, a little spin back to the left or something just to put some doubt right now, because Cairns knows that she's going right on most opportunities. Into this extended zone by Townsville. They look a little bit lost actually there, Townsville defensively.
Yeah, well,
half of them in zone, half of them in man. And they got lucky with a turnover.
I think it confused Cairns as well. Oh, a familiar play there. Thompson knew what was coming. She tried to stem and cut off Alicia Froling, who was cutting to the basket, but you can't do it in that fashion.
And that's 5 team fouls for Cairns in this quarter, so 4.5 minutes here of Townsville going to the foul line if they continue to attack the basket. Could be a big factor going into halftime here.
And another North Queensland junior checks in, Eliza Fabro for her first minutes. Originally from the BDK, but most recently played for Townsville. Had her last year, great kid.
Throwing long on the second one.
Alicia's shooting technique seems to have changed since the last time that I saw her here in Townsville 4 years ago.
Thompson no good from long range again, and I think Townsville might start taking the risk on her now.
Well, I wouldn't imagine Kerry Williams would be too happy with Thompson's performance so far. Early shots are unpredictable. No one was crashing the glass there for Cairns. We had 4 Townsville players at the rim.
Brenner now the ball screen. Nice spin back left, but no good.
Low scoring affair. It's 30-28, 4 minutes left here in the second quarter. And in other games, we've got a great game, Rockhampton versus Logan. Rocky, who lost in a surprise game last night to Ipswich. Not that they lost, but by so much was a bit of a surprise. But they currently lead by 5 against Logan with 3 minutes left.
Foul called here on Thompson. She's not happy with that call on Cox's drive, and Cox will now go to the foul line for 2 shots.
So Thompson checks out. Straight past Kerry Williams. No feedback for her, so maybe that'll come at a halftime. This is a bit of a vulnerable position here for Cairns, though. They're relying on the youth brigade of Indy Boyer and Shanice Swain to be the point guards against the likes of Michaela Cox. So here's that youth versus experience. There's Swain using a lot of clock. At 8 seconds, she goes, finds Downing. Back to, oh, that's got to be a charge. Yep. Well positioned, Alicia Froling.
Tompkins just had nowhere to go there and just ran through almost 3 players. Froling was the meat in the middle of the sandwich and got knocked down.
And I think that was the lack of confidence. And Williams wants to take a timeout and talk it over. But he could see from that play that there was a lack of confidence from the Cairns players about what they wanted to achieve. And herself as the import. And they would always feel this way. They need to make something happen. And that was a bit of a rush play and great move by Alicia Froling to get positioning early.
So, Mike, looking at a couple of those other games, I'll duck a couple of scores now and we'll catch some others later. But North Gold Coast Seahawks at the moment leading 76-53 with 2.5 minutes to go in the last quarter.
And I don't think Capitals have their full team yet, so it'll be interesting to see when they do what will happen.
And Rockhampton leading Logan right now with 3.5 minutes to go, 81-74.
That would have been a great game. I'm not sure if there's anyone doing that stream. I hope there is, and I'd love to watch it. The other game that I'm aware of is Ipswich. They lead late against Gladstone. They're up 85-73. Ipswich backing up from their big win last night, and it's looking quite comfortable from there to go 2 for 2 for the weekend.
And the last ladies game going on right now is the Phoenix against Toowoomba. Phoenix at home leading start of the third quarter there, 3 minutes in, 57-44.
Toowoomba a lot more competitive than they have been in the recent past. I believe they actually beat somebody for the first time.
Last week?
Last week or the week before. Anyhow, they had two. I'm pretty sure they'd lost 2 years in a row. So they'd been 2 years defeated.
Might have been a nice little party after that victory last week.
Yeah, yeah. Well, any win you can get.
So back into action here in Townsville. Flames leading by 1.
I think there was a mix-up there, but they managed to salvage the play. Brennan gets a great look. Froling saves it. Step back long, too. Fabro nails it.
Just those little pinky toes on the three-point line there.
Eliza. But great-looking shot. Great effort play, and that's a bonus 2 points in a tight game that are really meaningful.
Swain looks to attack Cox. Pull up is no good. A little momentum starting to shift right now. You can feel Townsville this is their opportunity to take this game away from Cairns a little bit before half-time.
Yeah. And with their import point guard sitting down, you're absolutely right. Oh, and Swain almost comes up with a turnover.
So Townsville will now be on a short shot clock, 12 seconds here, 2.5 minutes to go.
They drop back in it.
They're in 2-3 zone here.
They are in the zone, yep. All right, so Cox settles for the shot. I'm not sure that's the best shot that Townsville could find there, but... Oh, Boyer passes to herself and then throws it out of bounds. Oh.
That's just the inexperience against a veteran player there.
Absolutely.
Did the great job on the break, settled herself, and then just a little bit too loose with the ball.
Yeah.
And you can't do that with a veteran of the WNBL and internationally in front of you.
And that's the thing. Every level that you go up, time and space is taken away from you. So what she might have been comfortable happening at a club level for an under 18s game is certainly not the same time and space that you're afforded in QBL.
So ball tied up there. Jump ball called, and it's Townsville's ball with 1:48 to go.
So
Hurd 33-30.
Hurd and Evans, they check back in. Harriet Carey checks in herself. Lisa Brenner will sit down for the last minute and 48. This is a really interesting lineup for Cairns as I look out there.
Both imports on the bench. It's a very young lineup.
Yep. And you pay your imports good money to produce in these types of situations, but you have to give them that opportunity. And that's unlucky of Townsville to not get the foul call there. Luke Brennan doesn't look very happy. But, Carey, trusting his Cairns youth, and they don't come up with the ball that time, but they got a good look.
Little long by Evans, and Froling gets a nice, strong rebound. They're sitting in this zone, Cairns, with this inexperienced group, just hoping they can get these couple of minutes out of the way without too much harm. Perry from the elbow is no good. Now Cairns on the break.
Oh. Tom Jones is going to say it's Townsville ball.
Timeout called here by Luke Brennan, coach of the Townsville Flames, leading by 3. 56 seconds to go here in the first half.
Well, he was going to lose it anyways, so if Cairns are going to sit with this lineup, I'm sure Luke wants to talk about how he's going to make Cairns punish for going so young and sitting in this zone.
Getting a good shot against his zone as well. Like Perry, that last opportunity, surely that was a hard rip at the basket from where she caught on the elbow. I don't think that's necessarily the shot that Brennan would have liked to have been taken.
Well, that's right. And them being such a good offensive rebounding team, they're relying on their teammates to take predictable shots. And by the looks of it, no one expected that one. So it was a bit of a bailout there for Cairns. As I see Shane Froling check into the stadium. Shane will be joining us later. I believe he's doing the men's commentary with you, Robes.
Yeah, look, Shane will come up, probably enjoying watching his daughter play without having to be up in the bird's nest tonight and calling the game. So he'll be joining us for the men's game, which should be a cracker. A lot of banter during the week between the two towns. I caught a little tidbit on the news the other night
I did too.
where Rodney Anderson, the Townsville coach, spitting out a couple of the Cairns players' names and saying they sounded like an accounting firm.
Yeah. Jamie O'Loughlin saying, I'm not sure how to respond to that, and finished with...
He's a DJ anyway.
He's a DJ.
Yeah.
So, but it's a great rivalry, and I'm sure Townsville will pack out the stadium for that. Speaking of the Frolings, though, what a busy family. Alicia, who's just returned here, but Keeley, who played that 3-on-3 for Australia.
Turnover by Townsville on the out of bounds. Summer Evans makes them pay with 2.
And what a great play from Shanice Swain, the 16-year-old, in a clutch moment, being able to get to that ball. Just to finish that thought, Sam Froling, who's recently signed with Illawarra. Harry, who's in Miami with the hope of an NBA tryout. Here's
Shot
Fabro
clock
right
running low. No good by Fabro. And Cairns have done a great job out of this timeout, doing a great job with this young lineup right now.
Yep.
So shot's no good there by Swain, and Townsville last shot, 10 seconds left on the clock.
Swain's got to be careful. She could easily be pinged for a foul. She's got to keep her hands out. They find Fabro in the corner, and she buries the triple to end the quarter. What a great shot from Fabro. Let's see if we can get halftime commentary from our coaches.
So halftime here, the Townsville Flames.
Locker room about the first half?
We were horrible.
We threw the ball away nearly every second possession. A little bit better in the second quarter. 9 turnovers, 17 points off turnovers in the first quarter.
I thought you guys did a pretty good job of handling their point guard. Obviously, you had a fair bit of scout on her. Did a good job of sending her left. Are you happy with that?
Reasonably. Mick Cox is working the backside off. I think we can talk it better. We're not talking to Mick enough, but she's contained it reasonably well. You're right. Once we get into the half court, I think we're okay. We keep throwing the ball away and they keep running down our throat, we're in trouble.
Thanks very much for your time. Appreciate it.
first half?
Yeah. I'm happy with the girls, and I think they've shown us some stuff with the preparation we've had. So, yeah.
Mate, we've been really impressed with D-Trans. You haven't allowed Townsville to get out and running. That's obviously been part of your plan straight up.
Yeah, that was our major key, was slowing Townsville down and playing in the half court. So we said our young girls, we've got to play through that pressure and play with some poise, and they've done it for the most part. But
good luck for the second half, mate. And the Cairns Dolphins, Townsville leading 36-32 at halftime. Mike just caught Kerry. Look, he was just very understated right now. Happy with how they're playing. Plans going to place. Happy with how the youth are playing things out there. Didn't really give too much away, but you wouldn't expect that. But he's enjoyed the big matchup, but he's also really been happy with how his young guards have gone.
Well, and that would be consistent with Kerry's personality. On the flip side, Luke Brennan, also consistent with his personality. Not happy at all with anything that happened in the first half. He was quite fiery in the interview. He wants them to do a better job looking after the ball. He wants them to do a better job looking after it, of containing once they've coughed it up. He was reasonably happy with the job that they did on the point guard.
Thompson.
Janae Thompson. Yeah, Janae Thompson. But it was very hard to generate anything positive about his team. So I imagine the halftime talk would have been quite challenging for the women, and we'll see how they respond to that.
So both teams starting the second half the way they started the first, with for Townsville, Cox, Carey, Brennan, Perry and Froling. While for the Dolphins we have Thompson, Hurd, Evans, Tompkins and Swain.
And another key matchup tonight, Rockhampton were able to salvage a win against Logan. They had a big win. They won by 22. Big performance from Alex Kunik. A great set here to open the second half from Cairns. They find Tompkins inside from Thompson and cuts the lead to 2.
Townsville looking to work straight out of some horn set here for Cox finds Brennan, then Perry with the good deep seal, but loose hands again.
Oh, and Froling can't come up with the ball. I imagine that even if Courtney had come up with the ball, she had been there for about 5 seconds already. So Tom Jones was ready to blow the whistle.
Townsville just rotating the ball through the perimeter right now. Nothing with great purpose about it though. And the shot clock runs low. Down to 3 before Michaela Cox launches a late 3, which is good.
When in doubt, give it to Michaela Cox and hope miracles happen, and they did. 2 seconds left on the shot clock. Great change of pace there from Thompson against Brennan. She picks up her 3rd foul, is that right? No, second.
So again, Townsville just shading Thompson to her left hand there. She took that option though this time and ends up at the foul line. So do we have any idea how long Ward's out for, Mike? We see her down there in the boot and, obviously ankle issue.
Look, I think post-nationals it was given a time frame of 6 weeks to heal. So they might be a bit worried that it actually hasn't been healing like they might expect it to. So I think she's seeing Froling saves the ball there. I think she's seeing the specialist again next week to get a new timeline. Cox left to do something again. They give it to Carey.
Late three is no good. And Cairns on the break now.
It's been a rough start to Townsville for this second half. They haven't got any good looks out of the three that they've had.
Transition push was finally there. Carey was open, but just ball straight through the hands.
Bit of mental fatigue, maybe. Again, that attitude that let's assume the points are going to go in and we're going to be back on D.
Townsville shading Thompson to her left again. She crosses the street nicely behind the screen for the pull-up jumper.
You'd be happy with Townsville. I mean, if I was the Townsville coach, I would have been happy. Oh, big collision. Cox looks okay. Swain looks okay. If I was Luke Brennan, to be happy with giving up a contested shot where there was no offensive rebounding potential fading away.
That's the third foul for Swain. Might test Cairns' depth a little bit here, but right now they've done a great job at the start of this third quarter. Got it back to all square. Brennan launches the three, is no good.
Robes, you've coached at this level. Do you take a timeout at this point, having seen 4 possessions where you're not necessarily happy with the shot selection that's happened, but you get a transition bucket and you cancel that timeout immediately?
Yeah, look, we've all been there as a coach and done that, yes. Look, you see Brennan's got Fowler there waiting at the bench, maybe trying to make this change and change the pattern with the sub first. In what's been a tight game, you probably want to try and save those timeouts for the fourth quarter if you can.
Oh, she goes to work.
Perry turns back onto her left this time. Still tries to finish with the right, though.
I'd like to see something more aggressive. I mean, she draws the foul, which is great, but she's fading away. If the shot misses for someone who's such a good offensive rebounder, she's really taken herself out of the play on that.
So Fowler in for Brennan there with Brennan's couple of fouls, and I presume this means Alex Fowler will be playing the 3 spot here for Townsville.
Which is definitely something that she wouldn't be familiar with. She certainly can defend it. Versatile defender. I wonder if on offense, Alicia might be more of the 3.
She did play the 3 a little bit for you at times last year, though. Very small stints.
Yeah,
more towards the end of the season.
That's right. And I think when we were comfortable in terms of margins and things like that, just to get her acclimatized to, perhaps at the next level, what it might have to look like for her.
Evans launches the 3 is good. And the Dolphins even it back up at 42 each.
What a tight contest. Great job. Oh, great find on the back cut from Carey. They give it to Perry. Can't convert out of anything. Oh, back to Perry. Some great movement. Alicia Froling showing that elite rebounding prowess. Indy Boyer picks up the foul, and Alex Fowler heads the line shooting 2. But that's something we haven't seen in this half from Townsville, is a lot of that movement, cutting with purpose, finding the extra pass.
And Townsville 3 players out there right now as a trio that are known for rebounding. So you would imagine there's going to be a lot of second chance or at least a lot of rush at the boards here. Could open up an opportunity for Cairns on D-Trans if Townsville go and attack the glass too hard.
They certainly need to get organized about it. But Harriet, I'm pretty sure, finished above 40% from shooting from 3 last year. And Michaela was one of the leaders herself. So if they collapse too much, they're sending 3 great offensive rebounders to the glass.
Great find there by Thompson to Hurd down low, and Perry picks up the foul. Townsville were in that extended 1-2-2 press again out of the free throws, and Cairns have obviously addressed that at half-time.
Shout out to our colleagues from Townsville Technical College who are doing a great job with the production tonight. I've had some messages already about how it looks like it's in an HD stream, and it looks fantastic, so well done, boys. Paul Foster with the great technical support as well. The stats, the microphones, the videos. Watch out for his Coach Foss highlights packages.
So Townsville settle into work out of this flex set. Cox finds Carey out of the on-ball screen.
Well contained, though, by Thompson. Looks like Carey dribbled it off. Yep. Off the left hand and out of bounds. Townsville trail by 1.
Ball lodged deep in below the grandstands here, and the referee and the players looking at each other like, I don't want to go and get it.
Fair enough. Make the ball boy get it. He's about 4'9". He's perfectly suited for the role.
Substitution for Cairns with Downing coming into the game.
Sarah Hurd checks out. And for Townsville, Ainsley Walsh is now back in. Harriet Carey's taking a breather. A little bit of trap here. Fowler with extended pressure. Carey Williams calling for a foul. Tompkin finds nothing on that fadeaway. Good little change of pace there from Townsville. Cox turns down the shot, gives it to Fowler instead. She absorbs the contact, finishes on the right. No, finishes with her right on the left. Something she also has to work on. Oh, they're going to call the foul.
They called a reach in there on Alicia Froling.
I don't think Tom Jones had a great angle on it, and he possibly could have consulted with John Fenwick, but it is what it is.
Townsville, good job again on that out of bounds play.
4.5 seconds again.
Now Thompson looking to go ISO for herself on a slow shot clock here. Calls up the ball screen from Tompkins.
Oh,
nice find, but good pressure by Fowler.
Offensive rebound. Oh, they didn't hit the
shot
they
clock
hit the rim.
expires. No, I don't think either shot hit the rim there.
Oh. Import Tompkins calling for the shooting foul. I thought Townsville did a really good job of rotating on the first possession. Off the offensive rebound, it was well contested. Oh, Fowler just burying her player, who should have picked her up earlier, knowing the strength of her game.
Downing just not big enough or strong enough to handle Fowler's attack at the rim there. Thompson finds Evans in the corner.
Well contained by Froling. Oh.
Froling, good hand in front of Evans there.
So for a group that we said has an undefined 3, I just eat my words as I say that. I've done a pretty good job, though. You know, they've done a good job on playing to their strengths, controlling the glass.
Coach Brennan not exactly happy with a possible missed foul call there.
I thought Fowler dribbled herself into trouble.
She did, yes, yeah.
And tried to make something happen when she left her feet.
So they continue to push Thompson over that left screen in the horn set.
What a great job from Fowler, the 17-year-old, to be able to be switched on to the point guard, though, and again, force her into a long 2.
Walsh finds Fowler, launches the 3. It's long. Cox keeps it in, but only to Cairns' advantage.
Yeah, it's a 4-on-2 here. Oh, great. Oh, that's unlucky. I'm a big Fowler fan, so sometimes I get a bit emotional with that, but I thought she did a pretty good job. The shot was terrible, but the D-trans was okay.
Just that last-minute drop of that right hand as she absorbed the contact is where that foul's come from. But was a great job to try and keep her body in front.
So Fowler checks out. She's on 3. Lisa Brennan comes back into the game. 3:40 left here in the third quarter.
Lead trimmed to 2.
Townsville, the more traditional lineup here. Lisa Brennan, more versatile. Has played the 3, played the 4. She'll shoot. No, she finds Perry inside. A great move. They try to crowd her.
And foul called on Tompkins here.
I thought it was more a foul on Summer Evans, but I had a different angle than Tom Jones did.
The push foul was called there instead of anything upper body, and once Tompkins explained that to her, she started nodding her head. So Perry to the foul line. Coach Brennan and player Brennan just conversing on the sidelines there.
Discussing what's for dinner later.
Maybe Mother's Day plans for tomorrow. And Townsville back into a 2-3 zone here. Extended, probably trying to hide Lisa Brennan in the middle of that with those couple of fouls that she's got.
Kerry Williams wondering why that wasn't a foul. Bit of a reach in.
It's that point of the game where the coaches start getting a little bit more amped up with every call right now. I know I definitely have been guilty of that in the past.
Another long 2. Thompson trusting her offensive rebounds to go. Oh, great bounce pass from Cox. Off the right hand. Courtney Perry finishes on the right hand. Nice little spin move. Townsville with a 5-point lead. This is possibly the biggest lead of the game.
Yeah, it would be close to, from Townsville's perspective anyway. I think Cairns led by maybe 7 or so early in the game. Tompkins v Perry. Tompkins goes with the pull-up jumper, is good. Cox for 3 is good. And pushes that lead out to 6.
Tompkins disappointed in herself that she didn't get a hand up. Not sure she got the right scouting report as Ken turns it over.
Clumsy turnover there. And subs coming in both ways. Tompkins with a little bit of a limp going on there as she comes to the bench.
Yeah.
Hurd replacing her. And Harriet Carey coming back in for Townsville. And Brennan's versatility now pushes her into the inside, into the 4 spot for Townsville.
It looks like it's a quad, maybe a hamstring injury. She's playing at the upper thigh there.
Is it a cork possibly, or?
Janae Thompson picks up her 4th foul. That's huge. There's 2 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. She's obviously the primary ball handler. We saw what happened at Cairns early on when she had to sit down. So difficult period for Kerry Williams here to manage.
Brennan is good.
Having fun with some sound effects here. Little 1-2-2 pressure from Townsville. Oh, Thompson is left wide open, but they give it to Hurd. In and out. Froling with a rebound. And here comes Townsville on the break.
4 on 3.
Decided to pull it out. They played her the ball screen to Cox. She gives it to Carey. Oh, Harriet. Lisa Brennan keeps it alive with another board. Little
great
duck in.
find for
Great
Carey.
job.
Nice cut from the weak side. And Townsville now leads by 9 with 1:17 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Nice little surge there from Townsville. Thompson's still in. How do you manage that? So she's your import. She's one of your relied on players. We don't have an obvious backup. You're down by 9. 1:17 on the road. What do you do, Robes?
Well, you'd think they're going to have to try and go zone defensively to try and hide her, because if Townsville's smart enough, they're just going to attack from the perimeter. She's got to come away from any extended pressure in the full court and then just be a little bit careful. And, you know, Townsville might need to roll the dice on getting up and playing her tighter, trying to make her drive deep into the lane and throw some bodies in front and see if you can pick up a charge as well. But
she really hasn't shown that in her game, though, right? She seems to be settling for that long 2. She wants to play off the bounce.
But then Williams can't take the risk here and pull her out. You know, it's already at 9. Pull her out, have a bad couple of minutes. It's up over 10. gets to 15 pretty quickly in that instance, and then you're really chasing the game. So he's probably got to continue to roll the dice and keep her out there.
We haven't seen Sagigi, a former Queensland North point guard junior, just recovering from a knee injury. She's been out of the game for a couple of years. That seems to be the obvious backup point guard solution for me. Shanice Swain may have to assume that responsibility, but that's a big ask to put on a 16-year-old's shoulders at this level.
And Cox isn't going to let her have any space at all either. Extended up into this pressure again, trying to work out the trap. So Townsville in their own zone here.
Yep. Cairns are
get a good
6
hand.
seconds. They double on the short catch. Oh, Sam Evans can't convert at the rim. Play that took a bit too long to develop, I think, for Coach Williams' taste. On the flare screen, there's Walsh. Froling, a beast on the boards. 36 seconds left. It's a 2-for-1 scenario. Cox misses the 3. Here's Boyer coming on the break. It's a 3-on-2. They give it to Hurd. She'll pull up for the 3. Shoots the air ball, though.
One possession game here to finish off the third quarter. And you see Cairns has moved Thompson to guarding Walsh right now, try and get her away from the ball.
Yeah, protect her a little bit. I would imagine we're going to finish with a middle ball screen scenario here. They're going to force Boyer to have to defend the international. She gets caught up on the screen. It's a pull-up elbow, too. No good. A little bit early, but Cairns won't get the shot off.
And at three-quarter time in Townsville, the Townsville Flames lead the Cairns Dolphins 56-47. Stats at three-quarter time. Leading scorers for Townsville is Michaela Cox with 20 points to go along with 6 rebounds and 7 assists. While Courtney Perry has 12 points, 9 rebounds, and 1 steal.
I was just looking at the interaction from the Cairns bench there with the referees. There was something they weren't happy with. Coach Williams is going to be going through his instructions with his troops, but I think he wants to have a word with Tom Jones about something that may have happened.
So for Cairns, we have Tompkins leading their scorers with 14 points and 10 rebounds, and Thompson with 11 points, 4 rebounds, and 8 assists.
Townsville done a better job that quarter. I mean, they had 9 turnovers at the half. They have 15 here. There's a few that have been tacked on. But at the rate that they were accumulating early on, I think it slowed down a bit, perhaps not to the liking of Coach Brennan. But I thought they did a better job of taking predictable shots, organizing their offensive rebounding, and in turn their D-trans. So they gave up 4 points there from in transition compared to the 19 they had given up in the first half. For the things that she's doing to create for Cairns.
No, the 8 assists surprised me, to be honest, too, when I just saw that.
Another extended break here for Coach Kerry Williams. Cairns back to the starting group here for the final term. Walsh is in here for
Perry.
For Perry, yes.
So Brennan playing the 4 spot right now. Townsville just going a little bit smaller like they did towards the back end of that third quarter where they pushed the margin out.
The 4 Townsville juniors with the acclimatized Townsville local Michaela Cox now. Play through Froling. They're looking to post up Brennan. She gets backed out by her. They kick it out to Carey. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Step back 3, no good. Brennan with a great job. Elbow jumper from Cox. That's no good.
And another rebound pulled down by Tompkins.
They're going to play to the middle ball screen. Down the street, they kick it to Hurd. Another heavily contested 3. In and out, no good. Cox on the break. The music selection here in the Townsville Stadium was curious. John Denver. Anyhow, shot from Ainsley Walsh is no good.
As I look down, it's old Tony Parker on the beats right now.
I think his phone is broken or something. Oh, here's Shanice Swain with those long arms. Gets it up on the glass, no good. Here's a 2-on-1. They kick it ahead to Walsh. Back to Cox. Oh, a long 2.
And that's why it didn't go down, Michael.
That's absolutely right. A bit of an unlucky, lucky passage there for Townsville because Cairns had 2 down the other end, cherry picking and waiting. But the ball bobbled around and Townsville was able to organize in D-Trans. Another long 2 from Tompkins. If I'm scouting against her, I'm encouraging that shot all week long.
Froling looks to attack Tompkins. Loose pass. Thompson with the steal. And this game's just really treading water right now, Mike. No scores yet in this quarter till now, where Thompson gets a nice little right-hand finish.
It feels like we're back where we were in the first quarter with this sloppy play and an inability to convert and execute. Oh, here's Walsh inside for the gimme. And 1 scenario.
Silly foul there by Tompkins, just coming in, trying to contest, and that'll be her 3rd foul now.
So both imports in relative foul trouble. Tompkins is on 3. Tompkins is on 4. Thompson, I'm sorry, is on 4. Walsh can't convert the 3-point play. Quality sound effects brought to you by TCTC College. Here's Swain with the ball. Sent to her left hand, which is possibly the scout that she'll have to get used to. Great rebounds inside from the import. Big board.
Good help rotation there by Froling. Made the first shot hard, but Tompkins has played hard through that possession.
They play to that horn set. Here's Carey off the baseline rip. Oh, she loses the handle. Thompson
Boyer on the
disrupts her.
break.
Boyer converts off the left hand, something she's been working on. That cuts the lead to Townsville to 5. So what was looking like a comfortable 10 is now back to 5. Plenty of time left on the clock.
Probably what's more concerning for Townsville right now is 2 points in 3.5 minutes of play.
Alicia Froling is at every offensive rebound. Even if she's not getting to it, she's at least slowing down the play.
Swain on the attack.
Yep.
That's a blocking foul called by Froling.
That. She kept coming forward as Swain was attacking, and she was just a little bit late.
Tompkins just doing a little bit of mid-court yoga there, a little stretching to, she's obviously got some little niggle going on.
Well, something about that upper leg injury that she checked out with earlier. And is that maybe something that Townsville tries to isolate and take advantage of, seeing that she's in a bit of distress as Shanice Swain knocks down the first free throw?
So Townsville now rotated and gone back to the big lineup with Brennan, Fowler and Perry all in together. And it's a 3-point lead to the Flames.
Is that a 7-0 run then for Cairns?
Yeah, that one basket by Walsh interjected through the middle,
right.
but that's been the only score for Townsville this quarter.
They find Perry inside. Kicks it out off the left hand. Oh, great move. Alex Fowler finds the duck in from Carey. Brennan trusting his youth. Here's Swain. Kicks it out. Back to Swain. She'll take that three. It's short off the front of the iron. Oh, Lisa Brennan rips it out of Tompkins' hands. Certainly by next week, I'll figure out which one is Thompson and which one is Tompkins.
So Fowler looking to go to work against her.
Drew the double
Finds
team.
Perry open at the elbow for two.
Nice little response there from Townsville, scoring the last 4 points, pushing the lead back out to 7. I'm sorry. 5 minutes left here in the fourth quarter. Here's Boyer, 1-on-3. Maybe not the best shot selection for her.
Carey finds Brennan on the trail. Great find. Now Brennan will go to the foul line for 2 shots.
And that's a little bit of an experience there for Boyer. So she felt
it was on Hurd actually that picked up that foul.
Well, it could have been Hurd, but it could have been Boyer as well, who'd come from behind and wanted to make up for the mistake. And Lisa Brennan with the veteran move, sensing that she had that advantage, just put the shot up. Makes the second.
The trap back on here for Townsville out of those free throws.
Oh, Swain with a bit of hesitation off the right hand. Oh, she's so aggressive, but she's going to have to find some counter moves to that.
Williams just indicating he's ready for a timeout here. Senses that tide has turned and Townsville's taking back advantage of the game.
Great back cut from Brennan to Perry. Off the glass. Oh, Brennan collects. The bench was sensing it was going in. They had called a timeout early.
And the Townsville Flames back out to a 10-point lead now with 4.5 minutes to go.
Great answer from Townsville there. Like you had said, Williams was worried the momentum had shifted. The shot quality really had changed from one side to the other. Townsville with some nice duck-ins, you know, drawing the help and kicking to the extra.
Just gone, that group that he's got out there, that Brennan's got out there right now, the last 3 minutes was just some quality basketball. They end up getting harder at the rim and then finding receivers all around the place by the D sucking in.
And this is where Lisa Brennan's come back from retirement, who's going to prove invaluable for Coach Brennan. She can play the 4, but she can easily slot into the 3. And, you know, certainly for us last year when we were trying to organize our roster, figuring out who was the 3 was a big challenge with Mia Murray taking a year away, and her not playing again this year was a bit of a gap for Townsville. So that'll be really helpful for him.
Just waiting for both teams to come out of this timeout now. Guessing Townsville will be out before Cairns.
That seems to have been the pattern tonight. Coach Williams still drawing something up.
And really like the work being done here by Janae Downing. So she's engaged Tom Jones, the referee.
She did a great job.
Great discussion to give Kerry Williams probably another 20 seconds there.
I think Tom Jones was sharing his email address, his Instagram, maybe even his Tinder. I don't know.
Back underway here. 4.5 minutes to go. Dolphins needing to make a run. Try and tighten this thing up over the next 2 minutes.
Oh, not the shot Coach Williams would want to. I mean, it went in, but it was a bit of a prayer. There was no chance at an offensive rebound, but Shanice Swain is that level of a talent that sometimes you have to live with her freedom on offense. Great cross screen. Oh,
turnover
Thompson.
there. Thompson gets a hand in through the
2-on-3. What an offensive rebound. She skied for that one. I thought Fowler did a great job of protecting and boarding up on that first layup, but Tompkins came flying in over everyone else, grabbed the offensive rebound, and in that same action got fouled.
So Robert Thompson there, though, like Thompson got deep down in the rim and she doesn't look comfortable right there. So you would suggest Townsville's got to play that space, you know, make her shoot the outside shot, but then once she's putting the ball on the floor, get her to get all the way to the rim. And the lead is back to 6. Townsville doing a great job out of this last time out.
And here we have Brennan bringing up the ball for Michaela Cox, who's looking for the handoff, but Brennan says no. Find Brennan on the block. Oh, to Perry. Can't control it. Here's Swain, a bit casual. Her change of pace is elite, though. They want to play to the middle ball screen. They're trying to send Thompson to her left hand. Little shimmy shake. Comes back to the right.
And 6-0 run out of that timeout. Gets the ball game back to 4 points. And Coach Brennan now calling his first time out of the second half. Can't imagine he'd be happy with the sloppiness on the offensive end. A couple of turnovers out of that timeout.
Well, he rushed to get that chair so he could sit down and start talking to his group immediately.
No consultation with the assistant coaches there. He's got a message he wants to get across.
I don't think their feedback was sought in that particular timeout. He wrenched the chair, sat down. He's drawing. He's a bit animated. And, I mean, that's Luke Brennan. That's his strengths. He knows what he likes. He knows what he doesn't. He doesn't coach any different to his personality. So I'm sure the playing group knows what to expect when these things happen.
So 4 minutes to go now with the Flames only leading by 4.
Shout out to a good friend of mine, Casey Davies, who's tuning in for the live stream. Did a great job managing that under Queensland, under 18 North girls who finished 6th. Great finish for them. A young group, 8 bottom majors. Mark Roble, you had the boys group. A good finish for you guys as well.
Look, a satisfactory finish. You know, we were a bit disappointed when we lost Tamari Wigness a couple of weeks before the tournament, which made things a challenge for us. But I thought the guys battled really well for the tournament.
A bit of flu. Something hit the group. Everyone was sick. Everyone was on the toilet. Deflection there from Thompson. Post up from Carey. She kicks it out to Fowler on the left hand. Oh, she gets fouled. Carey Williams is not happy at all.
I think Carey Williams wanted the 3-second call there with Carey perched in on that seal. Big free throws here for Fowler.
Yep, they're only up 4, 3 minutes left, so. What's the one? That's the one. Mark Roble in charge of sound effects. Here's Swain off the middle ball screen from her. They get the switch. Oh, she slices and dices. Can't convert. Fowler with the rebound.
Now, surely Cox has got to take some control of this game right now.
Oh. Carey explodes past Hurd. Oh, bullies her way to the basket. Can't convert at the rim, though. It's Cairns ball. They're down 4, 2:20 left here in the fourth quarter. Here's Thompson. Carey did a pretty good job of keeping her in front. And probably should continue to just gap her. She hasn't shown the ability to hit the shot. Oh, and that's actually a discontinued dribble. I'm not sure why they allowed that to happen, but ball don't lie, and the turnover happens, so Townsville ball.
Cox guarded heavily by Swain here. Swain's length.
What a
just doing a good
matchup,
job.
Eh? You know, Shanice Swain is a 16-year-old matching up against the 30-year-old Cox. And that's sometimes the result that's going to happen when you play against someone who's been into a couple of Olympics. Townsville
Flames by
up by
6.
6.
Foul called there on Brennan as Thompson comes over the ball screen.
That's Brennan's third. It's the third team foul, isn't it?
Yeah, third foul for both teams. The second team foul, sorry, for Townsville. So
they were quick on that one. So a few fouls to give here for Townsville. Cairns can't seem to get anything out of this ball screen here. Thompson to her left. Oh, Fowler erases her.
Got to get the shot up here. Shot clock expiring. Another shot that sailed over the top of the rim. No reset for Cairns.
And that's the difficulty. I mean, the reality is these games are heavily scouted. So the next time you play Cairns, you can expect this to be defended the exact same way, and you're going to need to find a counter to that move.
Townsville trying to take the air out of the ball here a little bit, minimise the possessions left until the C's open for Carey, but
couldn't convert.
Loose shot attempt. Great break by Cairns.
Alicia Froling continues to sit in this sort of key period, which is a bit of a surprise with such a close margin.
Tompkins tries to get a seat on the Townsville Fire coach's lap down the end there, trying to maybe see if there's another import spot open for the Fire. We've got a timeout now with a minute to go. It is Cairns ball. Townsville leading 67-61.
Oh, and Ainsley Walsh will check in here for Harriet Carey, but Alicia Froling will continue to sit, which is an interesting choice. And perhaps she hasn't been around as much as the other girls have, and so the familiarity in terms of what Coach Brennan wants is maybe not there yet, but she's such a quality player that I assume if it gets closer, I wouldn't be surprised to see her step in.
And her time on court, she actually hasn't had a shot attempt yet.
Really? Wow.
So Froling's time on court, 28 minutes 37, 1 point from a free throw.
Interesting stat. And maybe that is that familiarity. She arrived last Friday morning, I believe. She played that night. They reintroduced Michaela Cox to the group, who returned for the 3-on-3. Alex Fowler came back from the ADC.
Perry coming in, who sat last week without being cleared as well, so. Cairns coming into 2 free throws out of this timeout. And interesting, did Brennan call that timeout a little bit early? Instead of getting the opportunity to advance the ball now, they're going to have the full court to work with. But I suppose when you're up, you want that time taken out of the clock.
There doesn't seem to have been too much full court pressure that's bothered Townsville, but Cairns are showing it here. So on the flight, Michaela Cox does a great job of finding open space, bringing it down the middle of the floor. They're still up by 4. 10 seconds on the shot clock, 45 seconds on the game. Play it in the middle ball screen, they switch it.
Good hard show there by Tompkins, leads to the steal.
Oh, Hurd comes up with it. 35 seconds, Shanice Swain. They're gonna have to do something. Oh, what an explosive move off the right hand. Can't convert though. Just not having the strength to go up against 4 well-built women. And Cairns are gonna have to foul here. They're gonna have to foul, and no one seems to be calling for it, which is interesting.
So Townsville just taking time out of the clock now.
I think that, oh, and Courtney Perry seemed with a lack of awareness of where things are at. Oh, and Lisa Brendan picked up a foul.
And that's gonna march Cairns down the other end of the court for 2 free throws.
And not only that, she fouls out with 5 fouls. I'm just looking at the interaction between Mr. and Mrs. Brennan. Just some dialogue going on around how those last few minutes were handled, and quite pleasantly. But here we have Cairns shooting 2 free throws. They're down by 4. There's 5.8 seconds left on the clock.
Hurd trims it back to 3.
If she makes the second, Brennan gets a timeout here, and she does.
So 2-point game to the Townsville Flames with 6 seconds left on the clock. It will be Townsville ball.
Just an interesting passage, that last 30 seconds, with Cairns quite happy to let Townsville play with the ball with about 24 seconds left, so they could have used the whole shot clock.
Look, is that the inexperience of the Cairns group, the young players out there? But they do have both their imports out there. You'd think one of those would be making a play to come and get the foul.
Well, there's a fresh memory in my mind of a San Antonio game where I'm seeing Greg Popovich yelling at Marcus Aldridge to foul, and nothing happening. And I wasn't seeing that here from Coach Williams. So maybe he was happy to let it play out. I'm not really sure. Townsville really bailed them out. They took the elbow jumper with about 10 seconds left. It bobbled around, foul, and here we are, 2-point game, 6 seconds left in it.
So, Mike, do you advance the ball here, or do you keep it in the full court? You've probably got to advance
it. You want to advance it because you just want to take out, even if you were to turn it over.
You've got to lengthen the floor so they don't get that easy, quick score.
Absolutely, yeah. You don't need it in the backcourt, but you've got to get it in. And it's an interesting lineup that Cairns have gone with here. They've pulled out their young ones. They put Downing and Oxlade. Is that? I think Oxlade's checked.
It's got to be for fouling reasons. Obviously,
it has to be
Thompson
immediately.
Can't foul, so she's got those 4.
So we'll expect a quick foul here from Cairns. Oh, but she got caught way out. Oh, wow, that cost them 2 seconds, which in this scenario, you're hoping for less than a second to foul because you really want that ball back. Oh, again she gets caught. Oh, and they don't call it immediately either. Interesting passage of play here. So we've taken 4.3 seconds off the clock.
Interesting that Cairns just didn't switch that screen as well. They'll go invert that screen the second time, knowing that Cox is going to come up off the down screen.
And just a greater sense of urgency to be able to get there, that on the catch you would foul immediately. And now you're sending a pretty good free throw shooter who makes it a 3-point game. Buries the second. Cairns will take the timeout, but they're down by 4 with a 1.5 left. So they'll need a 3. They'll need to get fouled in doing it.
It looks like Townsville will have dodged the bullet here, but you look through some of the stats right now, and they've got up by 4 right now, but the last quarter, 12-18, the way of Cairns. So that slow start to the fourth quarter really hurt Townsville. But the stat that screams out, obviously, is the 20 turnovers that Townsville have had.
20 turnovers, right, which perhaps reflects in the low score. We're talking about 69, 65. For a high-caliber group that shoots the ball well with great offensive rebounding potential, but, some key stats there that you've spoken about. Alicia Froling with no shots, so many turnovers, and just an inability to convert on some of the easy stuff that we've seen.
And the 3-point shooting percentage is fairly low for both teams. Townsville at 25% and Cairns at 23%.
Right. So still early in this season, what I learned in my 2 years coaching QBL is that you have to be able to adjust on the fly to the roster changes that are constantly happening, because if you have good players, other top-level clubs or international expectations means they'll pull you away. So you need to be able to play with a range of lineups. And Townsville will do a great job of defending, and Thompson with the step-back 3.
He's
fires the air ball.
The Townsville Flames call what I would call an escape tonight with a 69-65 win over the Cairns Dolphins. That'll take the Townsville Flames record to 1-1. Find some chemistry pretty quickly going into the next round.
Yep. They certainly need to cement some roles. They'll need to find Alicia Froling some shots where she's comfortable getting the ball. She'll be a key player for them. I know that in speaking with Coach Brennan, he was ecstatic to be able to find and sign a player of that quality. So now is his opportunity to sort of put those pieces together. And I believe they hit the road next weekend.
No, they've got one more at home next week. They've got the Ipswich Force at home on a single next weekend, which will be a big test, you know, early in the season. Ipswich has been a team that's been around the finals the last couple of years. They probably will be again this year.
And they put a big margin on Rockhampton last night. Amanda Johnson, after having a quiet round one, had a monster game in round two. And again, I believe tonight had a great game. So she'll head in here. Georgia Williams, a Townsville Flames junior who was poached and recruited due to her relationship with Jason Ralph. She's started the season on fire as well. So Ipswich come here with a great roster.
And Cairns now move on to tomorrow down the road to Mackay. A tough battle for them that will be, trying to bounce off a quick turnaround. I think it's a lunchtime game tomorrow afternoon. So
that's a 4-hour road trip on the back of a Saturday night game. So the northern teams often, and anyone who comes to visit us here up north often has to do these difficult road doubles. So good luck to the Cairns Dolphins as they head to Mackay tomorrow.
So thank you, Mike St. Maurice, for joining us tonight on the stream. My name's Mark Roble. We will take a short break from Townsville and be back in around 15 minutes for the matchup between the grand final replay from last year, the Townsville Heat versus the Cairns Marlins.